Good afternoon. My name is Jose Garza, and for the last 10 months, I have been running to be your district attorney. The last few weeks, all of us have been settling in to a new normal, and the reality is it's been difficult. It's been difficult for all of us. Right now, first responders and healthcare professionals are putting their safety on the line every day for our safety. We know that for survivors of interpersonal violence, sheltering in place can be unsafe right now. And some of us are struggling at home with childcare while we try home. Others of us have lost our jobs and are struggling while bills start to pile up. So taking care of our community is more important now than it has ever been. For people experiencing homelessness who call Travis County home, COVID-19 has brought a cruel new danger to their everyday lives. But it's also made it more difficult for them to get the resources they need. They may be unsure about how and where to get food. They may be unsure about where they can shelter. So today I'm really grateful to partner with my good friend, Julianne Nitsch. Today we want to raise awareness about the unique challenges faced by people experiencing homelessness in Travis County, and we want to share some resources. But most of all, we want to make sure that you know that you can help, that you can be part of the solution, that you can be part of bringing change to some of our most vulnerable here in Travis County. So I'm really grateful to be joined by Julianne Nitsch, who serves on the Austin Community College Board of Trustees and is a passionate advocate for social justice in our community. Julianne is doing some work on behalf of Travis County right now to care for our most vulnerable, particularly in this challenging time. So Julianne, tell us about the unique challenges that people experiencing homelessness in Travis County are facing right now in the midst of the coronavirus outbreak. What's going on out there?
Well, initially before the outbreak, we did, our work was more trying to get them housed and, trying to get them what they need, right? That has changed a great deal because we can't make physical contact with them, which is really hard just on like the psychology of that, of someone that already is, out and sleeping outside and unsheltered and not being able to touch them. It's so dehumanizing. So it makes the work harder.
Absolutely.
But a lot of them had jobs. There's an idea that, if you're homeless, you're not working. There's a great number of folks that have jobs and they're still homeless because unfortunately the policies that we have enacted throughout the last several decades in the country and in Austin, people can't afford housing even when they're working because wages are stagnant. Productivity rises, wages stay stagnant, and housing costs continue to rise as well. And then on top of that, a lot of them have really severe healthcare needs, and a lot of those healthcare needs are mental health needs. So trying to get them what they need has been compounded because we can't take them to certain mental health facilities because they may be coughing. We can't get them what they need, and if someone's experiencing extreme mental distress, they oftentimes don't realize, okay, I need to go to this hotel and shelter in place. So I guess the difficulties are layered and layered and layered. But particularly with what I'm working on, which is just getting the most basic resource there is food. And we have a lot of issues with, if they don't have cars, they can't go to the drive-up pantries because there's only one county. The county pantry is doing deliveries, but they need more food. They can't go through a drive-through even if they do have some money left over. Some of them are still working, but they can't go through a drive-through and they can't come into the lobbies, so they can't access food that way. So just the very most basic, sustenance of food and water has been so hard to get to these people. And I mean, these are trying times.
They really are. And what we have to remind folks is that the issues that we are talking about at the end of the day are issues that are absolutely related to our public safety, making sure that people have housing, that people have jobs, that people can get food. That is what keeps our community safe. investing our time and resources in that is what will keep our community safe.
Hmm. Well, and especially when you talk about, healthcare and mental health is healthcare. I don't know why we divide the two necessarily, but I had a guy today that had a colostomy bag that was infected, and he kept calling to try to get it changed. And we were able to finally get someone out there, but he's like, I'm getting really sick. And it broke my heart to watch this guy put a dirty shirt on over an inflamed colostomy bag.
Mm.
You know, not only can, what led him here, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was probably a health reason.
Yeah.
And then the mental health. I mean, we've continued to defund mental health. There's no way to pay for health care. So if you do get sick and you can't work, you get evicted. And so I think really, people really need to assess how we got to this place. There have always been people that were homeless, particularly in hard times. You look back at, the Great Depression, there were a lot of folks that were homeless and riding the rails and stuff. But now we're the richest country on earth, supposedly, and look around you. And what people don't see, I'd love for them to come ride around with me. Or I can show you there's 210 encampments just in Southwest Austin that we've mapped. That's not counting the underpasses, the breezeways. That's just in Southwest Austin. You may be working with someone who's sleeping outside and you just don't know it, because they've fallen on hard times. And we really need to look at this issue as symptomatic of something much larger. And I know you're running for district attorney, and why, where are we putting our money when we look at the justice system? Are we locking up violent offenders? Are we locking up people that have mental health issues, people that have addiction issues, nonviolent offenders? Spending our money to lock them up as opposed to treat them, it further exacerbates the issue. If you don't have money for bail, if you don't have money to, pay your fines, you go to jail, you lose your job, now you're homeless, now you're more depressed, now you're using drugs, your mental health isn't being taken care of, now you've made that worse by using drugs, now you're sick because you're sleeping on the street. I think people really need to look at this as symptomatic of something larger, but also realizing now that these folks can't shelter in place. They can't do social distancing really. They can't access food. They're having a really hard time accessing health care, particularly mental health care. And the community has really stepped up, but we need to give it a little oomph.
Absolutely. No, you're right. I mean, we've spent, at least the last 10 months, if not more, talking about our broken criminal justice system. We've talked about the fact that here in Travis County, up to 60% of people struggling with substance use problems also have mental health problems. And the example you just gave about someone with a dirty shirt on an open wound, it also brings to mind the fact that when we don't provide health care, we put our first responders like EMS medics in harm's way because they are the folks who have to go out on the front line and address those issues. You've done an excellent job of laying out the scope of the problem, of really bringing to light what's happening right now on our streets here in the most progressive county in the state. I know that you're not just talking about this issue, but you're actually spending all of your time trying to address it. Let us know what are you up to? What's happening in our community? I know that people aren't taking this line down. I know there are people who are working to change the situation. Tell us about some of the work that you're doing and that others are doing to address this.
That's the good part. It's
Yeah.
not all doom and gloom, right? We have some good stuff to talk about. My friend Pooja, which is we're part of the quarantine. You probably know everyone: Kenan, Ashley, Pooja, CJ. I'm leaving someone out. I can't. But we're 5 women that got together, and we have partnered with EMS and Host to get food out. The Asian American community has stepped it up. ACAN has been cooking meals at least twice a week, hundreds of meals, and then they deliver them to the Presbyterian Church, where a lot of times my friend Emily Grace will get them out with the help of EMS. I do my runs on the weekends because, of course, I work during the week on the packs and things. But So between Asian American Pacific Islanders, ACAN, Austin Allies, there's a couple organizations that have really helped out. What I'm focusing on in particular are the encampments, where people might or might not have, they have their tent set up. I've taken like several grills. Actually, Chang helped get together, and quite a few tents that Ken and Wooten helped us get together out to Camp Abbott, so that they have some grills and some pots and some pans, so that they have some way to kind of prepare food, because that's a place we can push perishables. But the ones in the other encampments, we're trying to do 1 week bags that are like, this is a week's worth of food. And that has all been started through Chris at the Other Ones Foundation, which is an incredible foundation. They not only help people get off the street, get them through casework, follow them all the way through, try to get them home. If they have somewhere to go, family out of state, they'll get them there. But they also, and this is the beautiful thing, is they employ homeless people. So they pay them $15 an hour. They've got some contracts with the city where they, do lawn stuff, whatever. But they pay them $15 an hour, and they help try to get them what they need so that they can also start moving into housing. And right now, Chris Baker, who's their executive director, has come out with the idea of doing the 1 week provisional tax. And that's really important, because that keeps us from having to make contact with camps every day. If they're staying safe and there's nothing in the camp, I don't need to be going from camp to camp to camp to camp every day, because then I'm going to bring that in, and then they're going to get sick. And then how is EMS going to transport them? You can't put them in an EMS vehicle, and then then that whole vehicle has to be shut down, and then someone gets in a wreck, and there's no one. I mean, it snowballs, right? So we need to be able to keep ourselves kind of away from them enough that we aren't bringing it into the camps if it's not already there. And that's kind of what we're doing, is pushing out that idea and giving, like, hey guys, if you just shelter here, we're going to be back in a week. And that's what we did today. That's when we found the gentleman that had the colonoscopy bag. And also just several times, look, we'll go in and we check, and Chip always has to come in, and it's like, somebody's got this, somebody's got, this. We're also able to check in on them every week, but it allows them to know that this is really serious, kind of drives that point home, and then gives them a whole week's worth of provision. And this is a nonprofit, the Other One. So I've been collecting donations from them for about $25 a week. We can feed a person, which is really affordable. So that's kind of where I'm focusing. The city is working on getting a contract going so that they can push out perishable foods, because, city center, like the urban area, is a different clientele, and they don't have their campsites where they might have, the availability to stay sheltered in place. But yeah, if I could ask for anything, please donate to the Other Ones. And, you can always contact me if you think you have other ways to help. U.S. Foods has been giving me donations of chips and things. I've been going out to Buda, to their distributor, to pick those up. There's just, everybody's coming together right now to help. But the best way, if you can make a financial donation, would be to make it to the Other Ones Foundation.
Well, that's really amazing. And it all just makes good sense. I know that in my family, when we buy groceries for at least a week. And that gives you a sense of certainty and stability. And we all know that stability, when people have stability in their lives, that creates more safety for all of us. So that's really, really important. And that's just incredible work. We have put the Other Ones Foundation up on the screen for anyone who is interested. If you're sitting at home, you're sheltering in place, and you're thinking about your neighbors, your community, the members of our community here in Travis County who are the most vulnerable, and you want to help, one of the ways you can help, you can do it from the comfort of your couch. You can do it on your phone, is by going to the Other Ones to make a donation. We are going to make a donation today. I'm going to contribute $250 as soon as you and I get off this chat. And I will be asking our supporters to do the same. All of us really right now have a responsibility to do everything we can to help our neighbors, to pitch in to help some of the most vulnerable in our community. Julianne, how are you holding up during all of this? Um, I know this is difficult. You can probably hear my kiddos in the background. Um, these are strange times. How are you doing?
Um, I'm just not stopping. I think that's my coping mechanism. Is just if I stop, I start to panic. But for the most part, I just, keep working through, put the blinders on. I have so many hats I can wear, so many things I can do, so many, like, I'm blessed. If I was actually had to stay home all day and do nothing, I don't think I would survive this. But I'm very, very lucky that my community, some of my community has put enough faith in me that, they allow me to do this kind of work. And I mean, it keeps me sane, and I'm blessed that I get to do this because I can't sit home.
No, I trust me. I completely relate to the feeling of feeling more at peace when I'm busier, when I have more work, more things to occupy my mind. And I know there are many people, as I said, who aren't working outside the home right now. And part of this discussion is a reminder that even if you are only leaving the house for groceries and other essential tasks, you can still help. You can still
Right.
get involved. Um, Make sure that you're supporting people like you who have to be working outside of the house right now, making sure that our community has the resources that we need. Um, well, Julianne, thank you again so much for dropping in on us, for partnering with us to have this conversation, to share these resources. We all have a responsibility right now to stop the spread of this virus, and that means sheltering in place, but it also means doing our part to care for the most vulnerable in our community. And right now, that absolutely includes people experiencing homelessness throughout Travis County. And it's not only the right thing to do, but ultimately it's what will keep us more safe. We want to limit the spread of the
Children,
virus
they're
through
not
our
going to be
community.
trying to buy food when they're not able to follow protocols. So we need to get this food to them.
Absolutely. It's a matter of public safety. So thank you again for joining us. Always amazing to hear about your great work. And I appreciate you taking some time with us. My name's Jose Garza, and appreciate everyone joining us.
Yes. Thank you.